Hello, how's everyone doing? Good to see you all. Can we get hold on one second. Okay, sorry. I'm streaming on two different platforms and had a little bit of echo there. How's everyone doing? Good to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is May 10th. We're already almost halfway through May. Wow. May 10th, 2023, 4:06 p.m. on the East Coast. Good to see you all. Thank you. Hello, I see you. Suzanne, Maureen, Single Mama 4, Victoria, Misunderstood. Uh, Scooby, hello. Kathleen, Angel, Gobi, Lady May, the legendary. Trev, good to see you. Hello. Generic, hello. Grammy Wolf. Art, Mama's the Boss for Slightly. Uh, Hindsight's 20, Sassy, Southern Grammy. Lisa, hello. September. Cheryl, Darzilla, Lady May, Angel P. Good to see you all. Hi, Coco. Hi, Deborah, Renee, Mary T. Good to see you all. Hello, 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 everyone. So it's been hey, Liplock, good to see you. Hope Bob's doing good, my dear. Hope he's hanging in there, holding on. So today, obviously, we're going to be talking about summer wells. You know, I think it's kind of picking up traction because, there is rumor that, there's a court date that's either already happened. We're not sure. I'm not sure. At least I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not sure if it has happened or it's about to. And as we know, Dawn kind of flipped out the other night. People were kind of speculating, did something happen then, or is he just under the stress of, the upcoming court date, or did it happen like really soon? Now, last night, as you know, Daisy and I, we've been kind of back and forth at each other. That's just kind of way Daisy and I've always done it. I think Daisy's absolutely hilarious, to be honest with you. And I have a little character kind of, you know, kind of like, I call her Daisy. She's the real Daisy is kind of my inspiration for that Daisy. It's kind of like a mama's family Daisy little. And last night, Daisy, she was blasting me a little bit. And what I was actually in full character last night. And I was going to go up on Daisy's, and when I got on panel, I was just going to show her my new character. I was going to blast out my new character. And I went up on panel, and Candace was on panel. And I was like, shit. So I didn't want to do that while, because it kind of took a serious turn all of a sudden. So, so I was basically behind the screen, dressed up as Daisy, talking to Daisy and Candace Wells. Seriously. But I was dressed up as Daisy. Felt kind of odd for me. So, yeah, she didn't stay very long with us on panel. Candace didn't. She is embarrassing funny. What do you mean, Pixie? I don't know what you mean. So then I kind of went over to Prayer Gardens last night, and I kind of debuted the new It Is an Odd World Santy. the saying goes, truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. And I really freaking believe that. She did get down quick. Like I said, to me, there was way too many inconsistencies in with the Summer Wells case pertaining to Don and Candace. Not to mention, they're just a dynamic that I don't think we'll ever see. Like, they're open, but they're not. You understand what I mean? Like, they're open to you as long as you don't ask them real questions. They're open to you if you don't ask them a time frame. But you start getting in that nitty gritty, and either Dawn's going to cuss you or Candace is going to leave you. And if you are there to just talk about anything but, then they'll have no problem talking with you. Dawn and Candace will. But they're definitely not doing themselves any good. Yeah, well, last night, Candace was like, well, I wasn't invited back on the Dr. Phil show and all of that. And I was like, oh, do you, listen, because I was thinking, oh, Tim Mullins here. The Meteor manager, right? They are open to hearing their bullshit. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I was like, listen, we can get you on big news platforms if that's what you want. That's like simple to do. Anybody can get you on a big platform. People want to hear you talk, Candace. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Yes, guys, we need those lights up. We need to get those up, please, please, please. It's so important for us now as YouTube creators to really get those likes up. It's very important. Hey, just to say, LP put out a good video. Really? Thank you, single mom. They sounded drunk the other day when their grandson was on the lap. Oh, I think. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, we'll just talk just a second here. I think that, this is the thing for me with Don and Candace personally. Not personally, but the way I think about it. Whenever you've had, 7, some say 8 of your, kids via Candace, and Don has, I don't remember how many kids he has, to be quite honest with you. He's got 4, he's got probably 7 too, doesn't he? 7 with including Candace's and Candace with her. So, and you've never fought for any of them. You've never fought for your kids. You've never been, and Daisy's like, well, you don't know the circumstance. And I'm like, well, then tell us the circumstance, Candace, because, you threatened them with a, so it sounds like you didn't willingly, listen, I respect anybody who says, listen, I got pregnant too young, or I made a mistake. The child is born or whatever, and you say, hey, let me give this child a good home. There's plenty of people out there who will give this child a loving home, and it'll bless someone, and I won't have to put the child through this and yourself through that if that's not what works for you. That is different. but dragging your kids through a life of unneeded, unnecessary trauma, struggles, that's another thing. Um, Someone said 9 kids. And, am I wrong, or in the beginning of all this was shown that Candace's first daughter tried to reach out to her, and Candace wrote a scathing reply telling her she wanted nothing to do with her. I remember that. I remember something about a letter. Yeah. I mean, it's not, and this is the thing I tried to tell Daisy. Listen, nobody, the last people you want to think about doing this to a child is the parents. That's the last people. You want to be there to support the parents, for them to be open, like Brandy and Tyler. We knew very early on, Brandy was at work. Tyler, he was at home, but there was video footage of uh, Monkey playing outside and all of that. It doesn't, it's just not the same. Their response is not the same. If you saw Candace and Dawn, lockstep with Ronnie Lawson and TBI and standing by them and answering any questions, not, when time's just going by, just try to have a good time. It's just like, please, David. So, anyway, let's get to it. How about that? Little girl taken. This is what I've been calling this. Bear with me. This is not wanting to fit. I don't know what it is. Hello, my kick stream as well. Good to see you all, Rachel, Fids. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me as well. All right, little girl taken. So, we were talking the other day about, some people have said, well, why is it doing this? What does Summer have to do with eating? Or what does she have to do with eating? What's the deal with it? It's not going to make a difference. And it's like, no, it's poking holes in a story. And it's also just wanting to know if she ate, but it's poking holes in a story. Because, if you say someone, this child hasn't ate in 19 hours, this child may have not eaten in 19 hours. That sounds horrible. Why? Because it is horrible. We know it's horrible. And that's what we, I guess I maybe hit a nerve or something on that. But so, Daisy, I guess, asked Candace, and Candace was like, oh, hot dog, and there, I don't believe it. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't believe it. I don't think she made anybody a hot dog at 7:30 in the morning when we know that they were supposed to be at the hospital at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. And it's like 25 minutes to get there. Now, today, what we're going to talk about, the big chunk of it is what about the bathing suit? Now, Candace, there's multiple things about this bathing suit, but I found an article of what Candace said back when this first occurred, very close to June 15th. About what Candace said about that, what happened that day, about the dressing and undressing of the clothes issue. So we're going to talk about that as well. And we're also going to talk about what's the likelihood of someone well, first of all, we're going to talk about the likelihood of parents being involved with an abduction overall. And the vast majority is. The vast majority is involved. It's usually a parent, provider of some sort, or very closely known, right? All right. Thank you so much, Southern Grammy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much for your super sticker. It's very kind of you, and it means a lot. So here is obviously Don and Candace Wells wearing, I think this picture was taken very, very close to the time Dr. Phil was taken around. And here's little Grandus thinking about her alibi. And you can tell she's in deep thought here, right? In thinking about her alibi the day, trying to recall what was said. And here is Grandus in 2020, jumping over the rocks and stuff. Now, I guess her knee injury would have kind of had to have happened after this because, I don't think she could do this now. Do you? I've got it. It was on July 16th, 2020. It says this via Facebook. Now, hey, well, we'll look at that interview in a little bit, actually. I found this photo as well. It's so blurry, guys, though, but you can make it out that it's Don and Candace. This is Don and Candace whenever Summer was first born. They look a lot younger, Meth is a hell of a drug, right? Or whatever. Drugs are a hell of a drug. But it's, I kind of thought in this picture, when you have children and, you look at them and you just want the best for your children, and you always want your children to have it better than you had it. And, we know that Summer is still 5 years old. She will be 5 years old until she is either found, until she's found either way. If she's found, unalive, then she'll be forever 5. And if she's not, then obviously, but when a person goes missing, they are forever that age until they are recovered or if they're found alive. So what is the definition of a child abduction? Anyone who wrongfully removes, retains, conceals a child commits abduction. It can occur with the use of force, such as the traditional method of kidnapping, or through the use of luring or persuasion. Grandus was at the swimming hole. Well, yeah, I don't think Grandus was at the swimming hole the other day. And I don't know if Doug is still in here or not, but Doug, he showed um, a text that Grandus was not at the swimming hole. Now, we have heard that rumor. Actually, let me correct that. That I believe the text, I think I have it here somewhere, that Grandus stayed with Allie. Now, I had heard through a few different sources that kind of Grandus and Allie had a little side business, if you will. Now that is just rumor. We don't know that, but it would make sense. It would just make sense in my opinion. I can see Grandus and Allie, doing their little side business, and we have long thought that Grandus was not at that watering hole that day. Yes, Sandy. Lips, wouldn't there be video of who drove though? So I didn't see Lips's comment. I apologize. Let's see. I was trying to find what she said. Can't go back that far. Okay. Hello, it is what it is. Allie and Grandis were friends first before Candace. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes. That's right, Mustang Mama. That's exactly right. All right. All right. So this is an article that we are going to go over. I'm trying to take this graphic off. Hold on one second. Take this QR code off as well. All right. So this is an article that was in the Rogersville newspaper. I forget what it's called. And it says, and this is Don speaking, quote, "Right now, it's not safe at my house." Donald Wells told the Kingsport Times News Monday, quote, "There's too much going on and people are crazier than HE double hockey sticks. And right now, it's just not safe at my house. There's too much going on, too many crazy people going around trying to start stuff." Now, this is one thing that I wondered when Don said this, because we've covered everything in this case, just about every scenario that a human mind can possibly think of. And I wondered, because, when Summer went missing, I can't imagine personally, like everybody was around them, wanted to help. I don't think anybody around them wanted to harm them. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, if Summer was missing, people would come up to him and be like, "Oh my, what can we help you with?" The community was reaching out. So was Dawn really scared for the kids, or was CPS going to, was it an option for Dawn? Did Dawn actually say, "Listen, the kids aren't safe here right now, take them," or was it really an option? But this is my other thing that I wonder. Who was he in fear of? Who was he in fear of? Did something happen? This is just a discussion right now. I want to make that clear. This is a discussion. We're firing off, but Don is saying people are crazier than hell right now. Who was the crazies coming around there? And did things happen, that could, they could have taken Summer even? Could they have tried to hurt Don? Did Don owe a debt even? Did he, screw someone over with work, with drugs, with sleep with someone's wife? Who knows? There's a lot of things that piss people off. But I can't imagine the general public being like, oh, they're just trying to help. If anything, they're going to bring you, food to your house and say, what can we help you with? So, what was it with Don? Did he get caught with Summer? Had no choice. I don't know. I mean, it did seem like at the time, I mean, okay. So, Don was complaining about the car. This was, Summer went missing in June. I think they got the car in December. There was mentioning about someone gave him drugs and quite a substantial amount. It's just speculation. We don't know. But Don said in Chris's interview before, it's hard to run drugs when you like to use them as well. So I just thought it was just an interesting piece of the article that made me think, And it also says we had a few people come in the middle of the night. We had one. I don't think he'll be coming back to our house anymore, though, he said. What does that mean? I mean, does it just mean just a random guy who came up there? But what would the guy want? What would one guy coming up to the house after Summer went missing be? I mean, I can't imagine, a big, guy going up there saying, oh, here's a sweet potato casserole. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Katie, I think he's just taking some a little R&R right now. There's something in it. And I think there's a split kind of thought when it comes to what maybe happened to Summer in our thoughts. And a lot of us think that it's an accident, and a lot of us thinks that and not a lot of it, I mean, some of us thinks that it's an accident, and some of us thinks that it was pre-planned. And none of us know at the end of the day. But, you know, could someone have even, came up there and gave him hell and said, listen, you owe me this. I'm going to take something that's precious of yours. And, could that even have been something Don and Candace said, that they were actually even scared to come out and say, listen, I was running drugs from Mexico to, Timbuktu, and and it might get a lot of people in trouble, like a big chain of people, like a lot of people in trouble, and everything come crashing down. It's something that's possible. We do have to think of every scenario. I personally think, in my opinion, though, it's usually the most simple of answers. And to me, it was probably, in my mind, it was probably an accident. But this is interesting the way Don worded this. And this is literally quoted. He's saying it's not safe for his house. Is he just blowing, or is he just blowing smoke up the reporter's wazoo and saying, there's just crazy people up here. We need to send them over. We need to send them until they can, come back at a better time after summer is found. Possibly. Don't know. All right. So this is the credit goes. I don't know if, I think Doug was the first one to put this out. No thanks, Doug. So I'm just going to say credit to him from where I found this at. And this says, come visit me. And this is supposed to be okay, after I get Grandma from the hospital, did Grams go with you or stay with Allie? Stayed with Allie. How come we can't give memberships? I don't know. You should be able to get memberships. I don't know. Yes, guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it. Did they get... Well, Jackie, that's what I was saying earlier. Dawn said it's hard for them to use or run the DRUGS whenever it's, they like to use it. Hey, Jen, good to see you, babes. Julie, thank you for gifting memberships. God bless you, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you, 50. I see you. If you don't mind or mind telling me who gifts memberships or if I missed something, because this new platform that I'm on, I can't, it's so hard for me to see. So what if Grandus stayed with Allie that day, and Candace just said, hey, I'm going to run out to get the prescription, and H, you want to go with me? And they went and got the prescription, and maybe they went to the horse pond for a few minutes and did whatever, swim, whatever have you, and you know, Grandus or Candace was going back. You know, we don't know what kind of medications it was, but if it was a controlled substance, I'm sure that they probably were going to get, because there's multiple sources that said Grandus sold some of her stuff. It's not just one person that's said this. Do you think H knows more than what he's telling, and Candace and Don has something? I think I personally, in my opinion, I don't think H has anything to do with it. Like the reason Summer is missing, but I do feel like he knows more. He absolutely knows more, in my opinion. All right. So this is part of that same article. Now it says the two schools. Pardon me, I sound like my voice is cracking. Like I'm sorry. The two schools were not only Hawkins County's two smallest, they were the two closest to the Wells Beach Creek home. With them closing to Kepler, the two older boys were to move to Hawkins Elementary this year, while the two youngest Wells children were set to be attending Joseph Rogers Primary. In fact, Summer had uh, already had an outfit picked out for her the first day. Listen to this very carefully. The one the one everyone has come to know, that which she's wearing in the last known image of her, lying against 2 gallons of milk in the back seat of her grandmother's pickup truck after a swim at Warriors Path State Park in Kingsport. Now, this is the interesting part. This is Candace talking. Quote, the only outfit that I had was her brand new one we got for her to go to kindergarten, Bly said. Quote, it was a suit, of course, pants, and a sweater. I got it probably about a week before. It was still in my mom's truck. It was the only change of clothes because we did not plan to go swimming that day. Now, so if you didn't plan to go swimming that day, why did you say you put a bathing suit on her at 7:30 in the morning and feed her allegedly a hot dog and be 25 minutes, had to be 20, at 7:30, and by 8 o'clock you had to be at the hospital, and it's taken you 25 minutes to get there? That's exactly right. Why was she in a swimsuit then? I thought Grandus bought the outfit for Summer. I do think that's what she said. Okay, now we need to finish this. It was still in Mom's truck. Okay, so I just figured we'll change her out and put her in these. That way she'll be warm. She won't freeze to death on the way home, Bly said. Sometimes after that, the child was reported missing. To the police, neighbors, friends, and family, the impact was felt by many, including Summers' Uncle Bob, grandmother Candy's brother-in-law. Okay, so I'm going to read that again. Summer already had an outfit picked out for the first day of school. The one everyone has come to know, that which she's wearing in the last known image of her lying against 2 gallons of milk in the back seat of her grandmother's pickup truck after a swim at Warriors Path State Park in Kingsport. Quote, Candace, the only outfit that I had was her brand new one we got for her to go to kindergarten, Bly said. Quote, it was a suit, of course, pants and a sweater. I got it probably about a week before. It was still in Mom's truck. It was the only change of clothes because we did not plan to go swimming that day. Quote, so I just figured we'll change her out and put her in these. That way she'll be warm. She won't freeze to death on the way home. So what's your thoughts on that? Let me pull this up. Okay. So, hold on. I need to get my notes. All right. So I'm going to pull up something here. That.
Everything's slow motion now.
I know. So which direction does Hunter go?
He went that way.
He went that way. Now, was he in a bathing suit?
No, I think he just had his shorts and his shirt on.
Okay, and Summer, was she in her bathing suit?
Yes.
And how did she get in her bathing suit? Or?
I actually put her bathing suit on before we left home because it was really hot out that day.
Okay.
So it was just something small and thin, not so hot.
Okay.
Because I don't know how she gets too hot.
Okay. And what was the temperature that day? Give me an idea.
Probably in the 80s.
Okay. So it's Tennessee warm.
Yeah.
Okay. So she puts a bathing suit underneath, but it's also 7:30 in the morning, and you weren't planning on swimming. You was actually sitting at a hospital and had every intention of staying at the hospital until you called H, or H called you, right? Now, there's another thing in this interview that I want to play. And this makes, this is something, according to Candace, that none of this was planned for the day. None of this was planned at all. This was, she just happened to have a bathing suit on, I guess. And she, after she gets out of the truck or out of the water, she puts a sweater on her and like pants, she texted H and called her back. She's not lying, but she isn't being truthful either. Yeah, she's not lying. I mean, yeah, she either texted H and H called her. Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Okay, let me find it. 1810. Okay.
We went and grabbed the boys from the house to
Yep.
come help us with the groceries.
Yep.
Because I always have them come help me do something.
And now, who was home when you got home?
My 3 sons.
Okay. And how old's your oldest?
He'll be 13 in September.
Okay. So was he babysitting?
Well, technically they weren't really. They were watching TV and sleeping at the same time.
Okay.
And I was just gonna run out for a second, and we never even planned. I didn't even plan for Hunter to even be with us that day at all.
Got it.
He just called and was like, "Want to come over for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come over for a second, but I gotta get right back to Mom." And that was all it was a quick second thing.
Got it.
Okay. This was a quick second thing. So she was saying that something's not adding up here. It's not jiving for me. She said the kids were watching TV and sleeping at the same time. So I guess she means some of them were sleeping, some of them are watching TV. But how is this a quick second thing? Bingo. Thank you. Thank you. How is 7 hours alone is a quick second? How is that a quick second? You leave at 7:30 in the morning. You drop Hunter off at 2 o'clock. You're at home at 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock. That is not a quick second. That's not running to the corner, which y'all don't have a corner store because you live out in the country there. But that's not running 5 minutes or less down the road. That's an entire work shift. How can you say that's a quick second? That is, I want to replay this because I want you to look at the way Candace, I'm not a physical, body reader or anything like that, but you can tell. Watch her, the way she looks away. Just look at her all over.
And now, who was home when you got home?
My 3 sons.
Okay. And how old's your?
She's rubbing that arm for comfort. In my opinion,
And I woke her up. She got up. I unbuckled her. She got out of the car. We went and grabbed the boys from the house to come help us with the groceries.
Yep.
Because I always have them come help me do something.
And now, who was home when you got home?
My 3 sons.
Okay. And how old's your oldest?
He'll be 13 in September.
Okay. So was he babysitting?
Well, technically they weren't really. They were watching TV and sleeping at the same time.
Okay.
And I was just gonna run out for a second, and
scratching again.
we never even planned. I didn't even plan for Hunter to even be with us that day at all.
Got it.
He just called and was like, "Want to come over for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come over for a second, but I gotta get right back to Mom." And that was all it was a quick second thing.
Got it.
And he's like, "Mom, can I go with them?" I'm like sitting there shaking my head like this, and I was like, "I don't care." So I'm just like, "Okay, whatever."
Okay.
I didn't even think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I always take them kids every time they call me and ask me.
But it was a quick second, and you said the other way. You said he was not going back to your house. That is not a quick second. 7:30 in the morning, until you get back to your kids at 2:30 or 3, that's an entire work shift. No, she doesn't. She will not answer a direct question. I wonder how old was the 2 young. Well, I know Summer and I believe the youngest boy, they were still, I know her behavior is telling, yeah. Yeah. So, you look at this, you're starting at 7:30, and 7:30 you wake up allegedly, which Don said Summer was still asleep at 7:30. Make that make sense. That means Summer would have had to get up like literally right after Dawn got up for Candace to put that bathing suit on her, make the kids or Summer a hot dog, which I don't believe, and this is when she says she put the bathing suit on her. All three boys were locked in, no one in, no one out. And that's when they arrive at the hospital, 8 a.m. It's 25 minutes there. You got 5 minutes to do all that. That's why I don't believe the hot dog story. That's why I think she's never said anything in 2 years. In between, let's see here. Now, at 10:30 to 11 o'clock, that's when she first picks up Hunter, right? That's 2.5 to 3 hours. That's 2.5 to 3 hours since you left the hospital or since you left your house. That's not a quick second you're leaving those boys. And I want to know, and I don't know this, did she ever leave the 3 boys there? Hey, Jody. Good to see you, dear. Had she ever left them alone before? And if so, had she ever left them alone that long? In my opinion, I don't think Don went to work that early. I don't think he went to work that early that morning. I agree, Jacqueline Marie. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. So by the time you already see Hunter, you're working on 2.5 to 3 hours. And PG said something that could have happened, with H saying that Summer was changed at his house. Maybe like she just went to use the bathroom and there was a bathing suit under it. But you just said in this last 2 clips that I showed that you weren't planning on going swimming that day. That this was just a quick second thingy. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Period. So, Daisy, if you can if you would ask Candace to clarify, that would be great. Because we just want clarification. That's all we're asking, what really happened that day. But if you're, I don't know. you got this thing in the back. You got this her first outfit in the back for her first day of school, and then she gets out of the water, and then you put her in this, much heavier clothing that's really made for, more fall-like weather. So after I just figured we'll change her out and put her in these. That way she'll be warm. She won't freeze to death on the way home. I don't know. So the question is, so were you planning going swimming that day? So you put the only clothes you had in the back of Grandus's car. Or according to Candace, they were already with her. Oh, I want to show you all this real quick. It's just a brief joke. Credit goes to Summer Wells missing group on Facebook. And it's like Benny hacking and coughing. And then it says, Christine listening only. Benny, I know that's you. I know that's you. Oh my God. What did Cheryl say? Remember, Candace and Summer could not go into the ER with Grandus because of COVID. Absolutely, they couldn't. We were in the height of it at this time. And, they were sitting out in the car. And then the thing is, Candace is like, I got to get back to mom. I got to get back to mom. And that right there alone says, I got to get back to mom. So let me look at my timeline. I just thought of something. Hold on. Just thought of something. Okay. Whether he goes with Kenneth. So what's the pick guy? All right. I got to get back to mom. When she says, I got to get back to mom, do you think, for whatever reason, whether Grandus was at the hospital still that day, where she was with Allie? I think she had to be with Allie, because they wouldn't have had the prescription ready, which means she would have had to have already been discharged. Justin, anyone think Summer went to bed in a bathing suit? Candace said she isn't a morning person, so I can't see. I don't see. Who knows? To be honest, Laura. But I just don't see Candace getting this kid in a bathing suit and then putting clothes over top that and then cooking hot dogs in 5 minutes. Wasn't there 3 hours for count of 4? Oh yeah, go look at Nurse Bev. The other day I did a live and it says, I think it's called something to do with 3 o'clock, because it all starts at 3 or 3 o'clock, 3 or 3:30. That is when something is happening, in my opinion, to this child. This is when it starts, 3 or 3:30, because it all adds up to 3 or 3:30. It was right after, in my opinion, they dropped H off, is when the peak of whatever whether something happened while Candace and H were together at the watering hole, maybe. But like, I think when they knew something was wrong was at 3:30. That's when Dawn says, oh my God, not Dawn. Who was it? Oh yeah, that's when Dawn said everything was wiped off his all three of their phones. Candace, Dawn, and Grandus. Now, that's convenient. That's convenient because A, H, and I'll tell you the reason. I think for some reason they got more off of H's phone. Maybe that's because it wasn't wiped as much. I don't know. But I think they did something to those phones. They tried to wipe them off. I think they could probably get them back as far as like the TBI can get them back. But I think they asked Don and Candace, in my opinion, why the hell do you try to wipe them from 3:30 on if you're so innocent? My opinion. Remember, Don said his camera went missing. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. He did say it was a digital camera, wasn't it? I think each phone shows areas and times, and the whales wipe their phones. Yes. Yeah. And Lips, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if this was just a thing, a quick thing, you're going to go to the pharmacy, you're going to go swimming, you're going to go to tobacco stores and grocery stores and all of this. A physical accident, aspiration due to vomiting, dry drowning, but why the cover up? A hand off or abduction is still in the table, but law enforcement said no sign of abduction. That is right, Rach. That is exactly right. I think 100% in my opinion, I feel like there was a transfer. I feel like Summer was transferred. Do we have any physical evidence? No, but with the time frame of 3:30 to 6:30, I mean, something is happening at 3:30. They were getting back or unexpected. Do we even know if they went swimming? Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that, okay, according to the horse stable people, they said that the vehicle was there nearly all day. Now, that is technically either the horse stable people are completely wrong or somebody is lying. It has to be. One of their vehicles had to be there, they said nearly all day. Now, that doesn't mean that they were there all day. They could have been there called someone. Something could have transpired, happened. I don't know. But why would that vehicle be there all day? Or maybe Grandus is in her own vehicle. Yes. Why, if you have a bad knee, are you going down to the hill? I mean, to be honest with you, I can't imagine them. First of all, why go to the ER so early? Like, that's extremely early. I mean, does Dawn, I don't know their normal. I mean, if it's an emergency, yes, I understand, going to the ER, it doesn't matter what time. But for something that is so non-emergency, why, leave at 7:30 and be there at 8 in the morning? I've never understood that either. This is in the heart of the, I mean, they would say, basically, if you aren't dying, don't come in. And that was even if you had the the Rona. Even if you had the Rona, right? Don says if something happened to Summer, not boys, Candace would call him first, right? And she did. She left searching. She says, but why when Summer wouldn't wonder? Listen, the TBI or Hawkins County, they said they have checked the areas where they have searched thoroughly many times over on foot and with technology. They said if she was there, they would have found her. If Summer was there, they would have found her. I don't think this is that she walked off. I certainly don't think that an animal got her, like a lot of people think or talk about. Yes, they were saying it. Hospital Grandus went to, they was on the news expressing that over and over. I mean, particularly during the time of Rona, if it wasn't an emergency, even when it's not, they don't want you coming in the ER as just a way to see a doctor for a non-emergency. Grandus was with them the other day because guys, do me a favor. I need some more thumbs up, please. Oh, Jen, thank you so much for gifting 10 subs on Kick. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very kind of you, my love. Thank you. You rock. When my husband went to the ER for C, he had to wait. What's that mean? I see. Oh, wait outside. Okay. Is there a clinic besides the ER in urgent care? I don't know. I really don't know. Rach is 325 on the like. All right. Very good, Rach. Come on, guys. Tell us what your number is. That is your angel number today. Whatever thumb like, that is your angel number today. And then I want you to look up your angel number. How about that? And whoever hits the like will get 5 years of good luck. And if you don't, you're going to get me to cry. Okay. All right. So, all right. There was one more thing I wanted to. Okay. 30, 40, 50. All right. So we're going to look at. There's just so much, guys, to this that. All right. Let's go back to this. Okay. Well, not this. This is being a little funny. Okay. So this was someone who posted, redacted the name and all of that. But I wanted to show, I wanted to show you some things that people were, y'all, I think something bad has happened to this child. My daughter's best friend is friends with the family. My daughter came to me a couple weeks ago upset. She sat down and told me how she had visited this house in Beach Creek when her best friend and her best friends, with her best friend and her best friend's grandmother. She told me that they were shooting the DOGS with BB guns and smacking the kids around. My daughter got the address for me and I called DCS. Please delete if not allowed. I did redact the name of the person. This is just another one of, there you go. This is just another person that says, particularly Don, abuse the animals and the children. And we've heard this from multiple sources. And also, why in the world were there why was there people constantly at Dawn and Candace's house, particularly minors? Here is other, I'm redacted the names, and I've actually redacted the faces as well. But here is a minor that's at the wells with a beer and a cigarette, and he's got beer and cigarettes in his hands. This is a pattern of behavior with this family. This is a pattern of behavior. Why are you getting children drunk and high? One second, guys. So Yeah. Well, absolutely. Don he admitted that, yes. I mean, these are, they didn't, in my opinion, they didn't want kids. They wanted drinking buddies and just something to give them to, I don't know. I don't know. Why were they not arrested for supplying minors, children in danger? Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. But we know that these peoples are minors. So we know of Don admitting giving his own kids that. We know from these pictures that they supplied them. Hold on one second. Okay. We know that the hold on. Sorry if they close my door. My internet starts getting crackly. We know Don admitted about giving his kids that. We know that these two minors were on their property at the very least drinking and smoking. And we know that Candace supplied H with alcohol and nicotine vapes. That is 3 instances that we know in such a short period. Right? Yeah, I mean, trust me, I don't think it's Rach, I don't even think it's debatable that there was animal neglect. I don't even think that's even debatable at this point. I mean, so many people have said it, right? And so yeah, we've got, 3 separate times that we know that these parents have supplied. So what in the hell were these little babies around? Hell, no one. I mean, God, poor these poor kids. Who knew when they last ate? Here's a photo of the vehicle that. What's it? What's it? I can't even remember what it's called. Suburban. That Don said they put a lot in. This is the vehicle that they said that Candace kept the bathing suits in the back. Are you serious, JD? Are you talking about her current puppy that she has? Yes, everyone be respectful to Jody. You don't have to agree with anything, but please be respectful. Well, I heard conflicting stories and timelines from Dawn and Candace. Okay. All right. This is, history of Candace's Facebook. You sorry bitches using my friends for your benefits and your kids. It's so sad. I love all my friends and family. If I have to, I will come to their rescue and no explanation. I will grab the real blood. F you sorry ass. See you next Tuesdays. Everyone knows I'm true and blood don't mean. All right. So now let's talk about what is the likelihood that a stranger just randomly drove up, you know, Ben Hill Road, was either in the house or snuck up there while I guess, they were gardening or something. Doesn't even make sense, but let's just pretend that, a stranger came up there. And these are the numbers, and for this section, credit goes to, I learned these from the interview room with Chris McDonough. Mods, please drop the link if you don't mind. Most missing and or abducted kids are known to the offender. And I'm going to show you the percentages after this in just a moment. The real numbers. Most are victims of sexual motivation by the offender. They are returned in a relatively short period of time. Others are victims of estranged parents, abductions. The first 3 hours, what are you dealing with? Stranger abduction is a rare event. I'm going to show you the numbers, like I said, in just a moment. Extremely rare. Usually, if a child is abducted, it is abducted by the parents. If the child goes missing / abducted, it's by the parents and or someone that knows this and lives within, a close proximity normally. A missing child is very high profile. The community will want immediate action. The media will demand perfection. The family will want immediate results. Emotions will be running at peak levels. And that's to say the least. I think I got this out of order. Um, this was in a chat room as well that, sorry, I got this out of order, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it while it's here, of someone that is very close that knows Dawn. Donnie was saying nobody knew that dog trail was there until the dogs found it. Nobody knew it was there. They would have found footprints leading all the way down the trail to the road right. And this is what I was talking about the other day. If now I know that there was, I believe, a YouTuber that grabbed a sack of dog food and tried to run up and down the area, but I've never seen that video. I don't think. Or maybe I have seen a clip of it, but a bag of dog food is not a kid. And can you imagine running all the way up that hill or running down that hill with a living person, as an adult without falling? It's not a flat sidewalk, right? This is a mountain. So you're going to slip, you're going to fall, you're going to create disturbances in the ground, in the leaves. You're going to break sticks. You're going to have to grab a hold of trees or whatever while you're holding a kid. It doesn't make sense. And I don't think it is possible. All right. The staggering statistics. How many kids are kidnapped each year? There are approximately 1,435 kidnappings each year. This number is an estimate. However, as not every case gets reported, especially as it pertains to family member abductions. So let's say that there is another, let's just say there's 2,000 abductions, and there is what, 315 or 20 million in this country alone. It's not a common occurrence. Trust me, one is too many, obviously, but still. How many kids are kidnapped by family members? A family abduction is the taking or concealing of a child who is 17 years of age or under. Oops. Okay. And the family member abducts. So there's a total of 1,435 kidnappings per year that's reported. Out of that 1,435, 1,230 are family related. 1,230 out of 1,435 are family related. I think it's very possible they know Summer was kidnapped, but they refused to be honest. So that shows you that that's staggering. Okay, so let's hold on 1 second. So out of that, how many kids are kidnapped by a stranger? A stranger abduction, also known as a non-family abduction, is the result of a stranger taking or lurking a child under the age of 17. Of the 1,435 kidnappings per year, only 205 were non-family abductions. So out of 1,435, only 205 out of all of those are non-family. Only 205 are not related, no family. So that shows you that it is overwhelming that it is normally the parents and or a guardian. Now, that alone there is staggering. But then I think when you add on top of the past and current history of these parents with the lifestyles that they have lived, with the CPS losing their rights, threatening these workers, um, to me, and them not wanting to cooperate with the investigation, with all of this, not wanting to answer questions, not wanting to talk about direct questions and answering. It's overwhelming, in my opinion. Okay. So, how many children abducted by strangers make it home safely? 90% of children abducted by strangers make it home safe and sound. Thank God. What is the most common age of a abducted child? Children age 12 and over are the victims of kidnappings in more than 80% of cases. Teen behavior and irresponsibility are often considered the culprits before officials consider abduction. This is not that case for children aged 12 and under. A younger child who has gone missing, 12 and under, often prompts quicker action. Here's an interesting statistic. RSO, also known as registered offenders, contribute to a minuscule part of the child abduction problem. In contrast to media reporting, the number of cases involving a registered offender is decreasing. In addition to the FBI reporting, NCME has revealed that there were no RSOs involved in the Amber Alert cases in 2009. Although abductors can vary in age, race, and or physicality, the FBI assesses with high confidence that the majority of child abductors involved in FBI child abduction cases, CARD team deployment, and Amber Alerts have a relationship with the child victim. So let me say that again. The FBI assesses with high confidence that the majority of child abductors involved in FBI child abductions and the CARD, remember the CARD team, deployed, and Amber Alerts have a relationship with the child victim. Moreover, despite media reporting, the FBI confidently assesses that the majority of child abductions are committed by persons with a relationship to the child they abduct. Only 206 a year average is not in any way related. That's staggering. Where do most child abductions occur? So up to 71% of non-family abductions. Okay. So non-family abductions. So this is the 200 some, the out of the, what was it, the 1,435 kidnappings. So this is the 205. 71% of the 205 of non-abductions happen outdoors. The perpetrators usually intercept the child on their way to or from schools, in parks, or in the streets. So public areas, right? Abductions are most likely to happen in the afternoon or early in the morning. Indigenous and low-income children are most affected by this crime and overrepresent in cases where child abuse occurs. So 70%, 71% of that 205. So majority of, so let's say for instance, someone outside non-related to Summer, they are most likely to kidnap her from outdoors because of the risk. There is a major risk, obviously, going into someone's home. There is a major risk going on top of a hill with a bunch of adults in the daylight hours with a bunch of dogs around there, right? Not knowing where the person is going to be. She just happens to go down in this room by herself, and this abductor gets lucky? No, I don't think so. Oh my goodness, thank you, Marie. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. God bless you. I really do appreciate it right now. Thank you. Very kind of you. That's exactly right. Yes. Thank you again, Marie, so much. It's very kind of you. It is way too much. Yes, and 3 boys with big lungs. That is exactly right. Not to mention, this is a country area. There's not a lot going, like, in parks and stuff, there's a lot going on. People are kind of doing their own thing. This is out in the country where, in the country, like when you hear someone coming down your driveway, everybody's looking out the window. I'm from the country. So, this is so unlikely to happen. To go up, to run up on this hill while Grandus is basically setting out the trailer door, and there's 3 kids inside. It's too risky. And also, that door makes a freaking sound. We heard it. I played it the other day. And the dogs bark. Absolutely. I was seeing prime time on a Tuesday daylight. Exactly. Exactly. Those dogs, you pull up to the bottom of the driveway, and this is a long ass driveway. It's a big hill. Big hill. You don't even, as long as you're down on the main road, those dogs are coming out after you. Jody Sue will tell you. She will tell you. Plus, seems like a lot of doorbell or private cameras. I don't remember which one that. But Um, let me find that. Parental abduction is the main type of kidnapping in the United States. Many reports question the labeling of this particular crime as it something ill-intended, while the majority of the time the child is safe, but a parent has broken a custodial agreement. This mislabeling inflates statistics and can create perception that the stranger danger is around every corner, so to speak. Most child abductions is uh, parent related, whether it is through custody or it's through some nefarious way. A lot of people say, no, you're coming with me, you're not going with your mom, and then it'll be reported as well. Let me see here. Even though the abduction by a parent doesn't have a negative experience for the kid, there may be long-term traumatizing effects. That's especially the case when children experience grief, stress, or conflict in loyalty because of the abduction. Almost all children abducted by strangers are taken by men. Child abduction statistics show that most kidnappers unknown to the victim are male, and 2/3 of victims in this category are young girls. That's scary as well. Even though only, at the end of the day, 200, an average of 205, it's so rare for and to me, it's just inconceivable. Someone going on Ben Hill Road and knowing where that child was in what specific room. How did the abductor know that this child was going downstairs? I mean, it could have been the boys that went downstairs, right? And the abductor down there. What if 3 boys walked down there and there was an abductor down there? What was going to happen then? But it just so happened Summer went down there by herself and she was abducted. Miss me with that. Sorry. Doesn't make sense. Miss me with that. You're either not telling the whole story or it's so it just doesn't. What if Candace went down there and the alleged abductor was down there? Right? What if Grandus went down there? A neighbor boy in his teens locked me in a tool shed when I was 5. He pushed me in and locked the door. My mom heard me screaming and found me. I never forgot to. I'm so sorry, Pat. Oh my gosh, JD. Yes. The first 3 hours after the abduction is the most crucial for finding a child. A fast response to missing child cases is the key in bringing kids home safely. According to child kidnapping statistics In 74% of abduction murder cases, the children were harmed or murdered within the first 3 hours of being abducted. So, like, what is it? Athena Strand. She was abducted, and pretty much immediately, these twisted people who want these children, these depraved minds, for only one thing. Once they have committed this grotesque sin that they have done, they murder them. And that's why the card team and all of that, they want to be there as quick as possible. That's why when they're specifically young, it is so important to get on it. Who is most likely to abduct a child? The most common type of child abduction is parental abduction. Parents that are violating custodial agreements are most likely to commit kidnappings, and in more than 60% of the cases, the parent is either the mother or another female relative. 90% of all missing children get taken by their parents or another family member. For example, 78% of abductors are non-custodial parents in the United States. Okay. So, this is the very important one right here. Listen to this carefully. Carefully. Okay. Less than 1% of missing children get abducted by strangers. Less than 1%. And I think when it comes to, particularly when you factor in my opinion, Don and Candace's background, the way they have behaved since with their shenanigans, and again, the not trying to get their children back and all of that, I think it's even lower for them, in my opinion. When it comes to all cases of children reported missing, less than 1% are taken by someone they don't know. The vast 91% of missing cases are runaways as a child kidnapping statistics, while family abductions make up 5% of missing children. Based upon the reports of the FBI over the last 10 years, fewer than 350 children were abducted annually by strangers, despite the high-profile news coverage of many cases. So, in my opinion, all of these things factored together have a lot of questions. Yes, Rach. That's exactly right. Yep. Bingo. That's what I put last night, actually, in a chat room. So, remember how Candace said that she was washing that day? How she was washing that day? What was Candace washing? what was she washing? And could she have been washing to potentially, we don't know this. This is just discussion. The only way they could have known that Summer was abducted by didn't see anyone get her from their home is because they'll loan Summer out and the person didn't bring her back. That is, I've heard that 1-800 and damn. Yes, laundry. So if she was doing laundry that day, was she washing any coats of anything? Was she washing, what was she washing? Could it have done something or a jacket? Bingo. Yes. Yes, potentially. That's what, I mean, do we know? We know that she says she was washing, but I would want to know what she was washing. I want to know. They all know she was abducted before they even searched the freaking property. Exactly. Absolutely. You're always washing, Sandy. Absolutely. And why did Candace, after 2 years, say she fed Summer hot dogs in the morning? It's 7:30 in the morning. It doesn't seem likely. And they had to be in the hospital within 30 minutes. And I would like to ask Candace about why haven't they released the 911 call? And in her opinion, does she think that there is anything on the 911 call that should stay a secret that would hurt the investigation? Like, in her opinion, did she say anything on the call that, or was it just was it just general information? And there, Mohawk, exactly, there is 2 different 911 calls. One is Candace, one is Dawn. We've heard the dispatcher. We've definitely heard the dispatcher. 3 o'clock is a very busy time in this case. Yep, 3 to 3:30, somewhere between 3 and 3:30. That's when it all comes down, honey. Okay, I don't want to talk about that. So there's that. Let me find something here. I want to show you. Where's my thingy, my jigger? Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do me a favor and hit that.
They come get me. I always come get them because their mom don't do nothing with them.
Okay.
She just sits there.
That seems to be the difference between you and Allie. You guys have a difference in terms of what you say you do and what she says she does, right?
Right.
There's always that. It seems to be a conflict.
Conflict somewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead. Finish your
But
thought.
I'm always taking the kids like it was, I want to say like 3-4 months ago. I went over to Allie's and I asked Allie if she wanted her and the kids wanted to go up to, I want to call it Ducktown because that's where we planned on going, was Ducktown. And she's like, no, I'm going to sleep, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right. And I was like, well, can I go? And Allie's like, yeah, go ahead. So we took him up to Ducktown with us and stuff and brought him.
That's-
Porch,
Chill. Yeah.
drinking.
I know someone that will. So
Right.
it's a job.
Right. Do you have a bulldozer?
No. Sometimes I wish I did.
Okay.
No, that's just joking.
Got it. That's okay.
But
You're doing laundry.
doing laundry and stuff, and kids are all sitting there watching.
Okay, so she's doing laundry and stuff. So, in going back to the timeline, she dropped Hunter off anywhere from 2 to 2:30. And she said that those jugs of milk photo was taken about 5 minutes away from the house. 5 minutes away from the house. Yeah. Kim, that's because, in my opinion, there's just no way. There's just no way that someone was there waiting in that basement. So she's doing laundry.
Watching TV, chilling. And I stepped down, and I noticed Mom was sitting on the step, and her step is like literally from here to that tree.
So while Grandus is there sitting on the step, right? Sitting on the step. Penny, thank you so much for the cash out. Thank you, my love. It's very kind of you. While she is sitting there on the step, I mean, she didn't hear any vehicles down at the bottom. She didn't hear anyone coming up the hill. She didn't see anyone. She can see someone right there. Were they already? Thank you, Penny. Very kind of you, sweetheart. I still want to know how Blue Roof Dawn was already searching with. Yeah, I recall mostly positive reactions in the interview. Okay.
From my doorstep.
Okay.
I can literally walk over and be right there.
Okay.
But they didn't see anything. They didn't hear anything. And it seemed like Candace, in my opinion, was wanting to sound like she wanted to walk Summer over a few feet to get in the house, which makes no sense.
And she's like looking around. I was like, "What's your problem?" She's like, "We got to get these plants transplanted into bigger pots."
Okay.
And she's
Now
like,
you're sitting on the front porch, or where you all?
No, I'm
where
not
you-
sitting. I'm
Are you in the
standing.
house?
No. She's sitting on our camper step right there. And,
Okay.
and the flowers are here
Remember her camper step.
on both sides.
Okay.
And I'm just standing there. We're just talking. And she's like, "We got to get these transplanted." I was like, "All right, well." She goes, "Well, we know the boys ain't going to help because they don't like to do flowers."
Yeah. What boy does, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Chris, I like to do flowers.
Yeah.
I was like, "But I know someone that will." So I ran back in the house and I grabbed Summer. She was sitting in the kitchen playing with her little, what are them? Little short guys with the big eyeballs.
Okay.
And I was like, "Summer, you want to plant flowers? Me and Grandma."
So notice how she says Summer is up there while, she's getting, before she's going to go get Summer to ask if she wants to help. Summer is up there with her brothers. I can't imagine this little girl wanting to go downstairs to play in this windowless dungeon like bedroom, in my opinion, rather than bringing her toys, because from what I understand, she always brought her toys up, especially if her brothers are up there, regardless of whether her brothers were playing with her or not. Just being around them is what I think she would, kids want to be around each other. Right.
Is that the LOL things? Are they?
No, they're not.
Like
She didn't really like LOLs.
Okay.
She didn't care for those. No, I don't know what they're called. They're all kinds of different characters, like different animals, but they got big eyes.
Okay.
She liked them, so I bought them for her. And she was saying, I was like, Summer, you want to do some flower planting and stuff? She jumped up faster than anybody I've seen jump up. She's like, pretty flowers? I was like, yeah, let's go over to Grandma's and plant flowers. Transplant them is what we did. And so we did that, and
Watch her. And so I feel like she's thinking right there.
she's like, pretty flowers? I was like, yeah, let's go over to Grandma's and plant flowers. Transplant them is what we did. And so we did that, and I don't know, it took us a while. Probably 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, I don't know.
30, 40, 50 minutes to plant a couple cactuses. Thank you, One Love. I'm glad I'm growing on you, honey. Thank you, Center Dinner. Thank you. Look at me. I've got Band-Aids because I garden almost every day. And these are little succulents. You put dirt in the flower pot. You put 4 little holes, and then you cover them up, and then they put some rock on it. That took 30, 40, 50 minutes. That should have taken 4, 5, 6 minutes max. Right? It doesn't make sense. And there was a weed as well. Yes, there was a weed. I don't, in my opinion, think that the flower thing happened at all that day, in my opinion. To me, it is just something, she said 30, 40, 50 minutes. It is something to fill in that gap. She should have gotten a timeline straight. All these events do not add up to when the 911 calls occurred. 30 to 40 cacti for cacti planting, brace, then minute, return home 5 minutes after video, 3 to 3:20. Absolutely, that girl. It's yeah, the knee brace, the flower story, to me it does, it's just time fillers. Yes, April. The only flowers on June 15th was stealing the state park's flowers, that dang rosebush. So it's interesting, right here where Chris and Candace is standing, there's a tree right here. And for whatever reason, there is a beautiful rose bush vine that floated in somehow, and it grows there. And it's a beautiful rose bush, and I think maybe they saw it and they tried to dig some of it up or cut it for, cuttings or whatever. But that's maybe the only flowers. The flower story was to explain fresh dirt under the nails from bearing summer somewhere. Wow. Well, another thing is, you see, like, if you're in the water swimming and all that stuff, you should not have dirt under your fingernails once you get out. You shouldn't have dirt on your hands and under your fingernails, which Summer still did. Trevor. The water is definitely up in the interview. I was there today and it's further out by a bit. Yes. Yeah, the water here is higher than it normally is, for sure. Exactly. A 2-minute nap? No, unless it's a clay bottom. Yeah, but I mean, maybe your feet is one thing, but your fingernails is another. I don't think you're going to have mud underneath your nails. My opinion.
We're not real fast people. We don't.
Okay. Your
And now she's making that excuse. We're not real fast people.
Tennessee time.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
sitting
much.
on a
Chris is just agreeing with her,
porch,
Chilling.
just trying to, make her comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drinking some sweet tea and just
I don't drink tea. But
okay, but chatting her around.
yeah, just chatting pretty much. Me and Mom drink Mountain Dew.
Okay.
That's what we do. We drink Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And the summer we got done, we washed our hands real quick, went in Grandma's house, and she asked Grandma for a piece of candy. She always does.
Okay.
And of course, Grandma gives it to her.
Sure.
And she wanted a piece of candy, so Grandma gave it to her. We were sitting there for about, 5-10 minutes maybe at the most. And she was, Mom, I want to go back to the house with my brothers. I was like, all right. So I got up and I walked her back across to where I could literally see her walking to my doorstep.
Okay.
And she
Front door, back door?
No, well, I don't know if you want to call it the front door or back door because I don't really consist which way.
Which door is it? Yeah. In some of the pictures I see, there's a door around the bottom and the back.
Not the basement door. I call it the kitchen door is what I call it.
Okay.
And she walked in there and there's a scaffolding that we have for steps. The yellow and black scaffolding we have for steps. Okay. And I put my hand on the scaffold. I said, boys, watch something. I'll be right back. And I had to go over and help Mom. She was still sitting over there.
I don't believe the story. Yes, walked her to the doorstep. Now, forgive me, but she, she's, feeding her allegedly kids hot dogs at 7:30 of the morning and, leaving her kids, her boys allegedly home all day. I don't picture her walking her over to the house 15 feet away and saying, guys, watch your sister. I'm going to go help Grandus, do her things. Okay, Mom. Doesn't make sense.
And I had to go and get her knee brace and fix it for her because it was twisted and crap.
Okay.
It took me like 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a time person. Never have been.
5-10 minutes. She's not a time person. Yeah. Where's the new brace? Never saw one. How about that? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that?
Okay.
And next thing I know, I said, Mom, I'm going back over with the kids, chill and hang out, whatever. And I freaking asked her brothers, well, where'd your sister go? She was just right here with you. But she wanted to go play with her toys downstairs, Mom. I said, I think none of them, because that's where our room is, that's where her toys are.
Okay.
And
I feel like I feel like every bit of this is fabricated. Watch her, she looks away, and
after about a second, I didn't hear nothing down there. I was like, you sure she went downstairs? They're like, yeah, Mom, she went downstairs.
Okay.
And my boys do not lie to me.
Are you sure she went downstairs? Yeah, Mom, she went downstairs, and my boys would not lie to me. Not lie to me. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. Yep. At least 3:30 to 5:30 is all lies. We're summer. Maybe, and that's being gracious. You know, the first call didn't come in till what, 6:26 or 6:30, 6:26, I think. They're lying somewhere in the camper, picking up somewhere out of the truck. Said Summer put a plant was to go along with story. The Paw Patrol. Oh yeah. They blamed the boys from the start, seeing her walk out of the back door and had to once again change the story. All right. Hey, Ozzy girl. Good to see you, dear.
So I went around because my stairs, my husband calls it a bar, but it's not really a bar. I call it a mess. We built it over the staircase. I guess you could call it a bar, but it's not really a bar because we don't drink that much. So, but it was like where we put our TV stand and stuff like that. And I walked around because that's where the steps are hidden up underneath there. And I said, Summer. And she didn't answer me. I said, Summer, are you down there? And she didn't answer me. So I ran down the stairs pretty much. I was freaking out. I was like, why is she not answering me? And I looked I blew up. I went everywhere looking for her. So I couldn't find her nowhere.
Okay. Then what happened?
She was just gone.
Okay.
She was just gone into nowhere. And I started tracing the property, going everywhere I could. I sent my boys down through we live on the hill, so it was down by the creek. Okay. I sent them all down through there looking and everything. I said, still didn't find her? And they said no. So I ran over and I freaked out. I called Donnie because that's what I do automatically. I freak out, you know.
You called Don?
I called Donnie. I said, I cannot find Summer. Come home now. He's like, call the cops. So I threw my phone down on the back of his pickup, ran over to my mom, picked up her phone because the only one that gets out there is AT&T.
Okay.
So I picked up her phone, I dialed on one.
Now, I don't know about you. I've been at the bottom of the hill. I've never been at the top of the hill, and it is on a hill they live on. Now, I will tell you, down at the driveway with AT&T, I got 0 bars. Z with a row. 0. Nothing. Where was Grandus's phone?
I said, I cannot find my daughter. And they sent people out, and I wasn't just going to stand there and wait for them to send people out.
Right.
I jumped in my mom's truck, and I went down the driveway as fast as I could. I went everywhere I could possibly think, every road, which way. I didn't see no cars. I didn't see nobody at all. And I was like flipping out. I was a hot mess, so you call it.
Okay.
It makes no sense. The only thing that can come to my mind is that somebody snuck up there in that yard and took my baby girl.
Somebody snuck up there and took my baby girl. And I like how Chris asked this question.
What are the odds of that?
What are the odds of that?
From your perspective?
It happens all the time, all the way around the world.
I'm not questioning that it happens. I'm just asking you from your perspective. In your property, living up there as long as you have, Candace, right? What are the odds that happened? Take a guess.
50-50.
Okay.
50-50. So 50-50. She said the only thing I can think of is someone came up there and took my baby girl. Okay. Chris asked, what are the odds? Well, 50-50, she says. Well, what is the 50% What is the 50% of it not happening? Well, then who took your daughter? Because listen, something we know someone did something with Summer on June 15th. Why not 100%? Like, listen, they have said from the beginning that someone took her. She did not wander off, according to Don and Candace. They know better. But I don't know.
Okay. What would be the 50% that it didn't happen? What are the other possibilities?
I have no idea.
Okay. Could she have walked away and fallen?
Knowing my daughter?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Okay. What's in your heart today in terms of what gives you hope and what do you hold on to? I mean, you've been around the block a couple of weekends, okay? I mean, so have I. And I think what you're telling me here, I have no reason to disagree with you. You know what I mean? I mean, there's going to be a lot of he said, she said, and you know, and I know, no matter what, okay? No matter what,
In my heart, I believe, now this is just the way I feel.
I respect that. Totally respect that.
I feel that somebody has got her hid out somewhere.
Okay.
And is keeping her away from us.
Help me understand why that's in your heart.
Okay, first off, I didn't know how many sex offenders lived around me that were only 8 minutes from my property.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we've already talked about all the statistics. Remember? Of how it's literally less than a 1% chance. And even on, with even a sex offender, it's even way less than 1%. Even though we see it on the media,
I didn't know that.
Right.
And my daughter never goes out into the woods because we've taught her there's dangerous snakes, there's bears, there's pack of dogs, there's coyotes, there's everything magical out there in the woods that can hurt you.
Okay.
I've even taught my boys that.
Okay.
And I have never stressed that enough. I tell her that every day.
Right.
And she would never ever go anywhere than that swing that's on that tree.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that swing. Is that her favorite? I love.
What did she say? When did he say that? When did H supposedly say that? 1-800.
Those videos you put up showing her just having an absolute blast. That's a blast. What about this call allegedly that Hunter says came in? Well, he said there was a call that Dawn made to you while you were in line at the prescription. Did that happen?
He called me and asked how everything was going.
Okay.
And how soon we were going to be home.
Okay. Hunter relates that he mentioned to you that Dawn.
Why did he ask? Yeah, there we go, Batgirl. Why did he ask how soon you were going to be home? He's at work. Remember? He's at work, Candace. You should be calling him and asking, what time are you going to be home today? How about that? Except they know. Something I don't believe Don for a second was at work all day. They've never confirmed Dawn was at work. Never confirmed.
It said something about somebody around the property. Is that true?
That is so bullshit.
Okay.
Sorry to say, but that's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. All right. Okay. So where is?
I don't mean to get upset, but when something
you're
like that,
here's the good news. Okay. This is your daughter.
I know where my husband was.
Okay. But you have a.
Look at there. She knows where her husband was. She knows where her husband was. You do, Candace? Yeah, you know where he was. I agree with that. He wasn't at work. He was not at work, in my opinion. Yeah, no one was. There was no crazy out there on her property trying to, do
Every reason. Don't apologize.
No, I'm just.
Okay. Don't
it makes
apologize.
Me so mad that.
I mean, the fact that you're wearing mom patrol.
That somebody could stand there and lie.
Candace, we know you have lied for sure in this interview twice. One, you said you didn't give Hunter alcohol or cigarettes, and you said if my mom was here right now, she would tell you, and you looked Chris dead in the eye. Second of all, we know that you did not feed the child that day, Summer. We know this. You didn't feed her at 7:30 in the morning. You gave her some Kool-Aid and some orange pop, and she might have got in the camper refrigerator. Might have. Don't you think a 5-year-old should be able to, eat something more times a day? I was thinking, something, even if she listen to this, if she ran away by herself, let's say she went off and she ran away by herself, how long do you think she should go? How long do you think she could go without any calories inside of her? And she's already, burning fumes the way she is because she swam that day and, she didn't have any fuel in her for up to 19 hours. How far could you go with no caloric intake, no calories? How many times? Not very far. You couldn't. And barefoot. Yeah. Exactly. Kid never ran off. Not this. No. Don't think so.
People lie.
To law enforcement, to everybody. It makes me so mad that it just makes my blood boil.
Right.
It makes her blood boil. Mm-hmm. I agree, K-Mac. I agree.
Right. So she disappears. What are the possibilities in your mind? I know what your heart's saying. Your heart's saying she's with somebody right now. How would we know how to connect that dot, you and me?
Well, like, for instance, that Dobbs guy that was supposed to be camping across at my neighbor's house.
Right.
He was there that same time, and then Tony Hammonds, whoever the hell he is.
She acts like she doesn't know who these people are. And it's just BS.
He was down through there.
Who was there when you got home?
There was nobody there. There was my mom mentioned the blue van across at my neighbor's house, but I just figured she had company.
Okay.
I didn't know about that was the guy that was trying to move in there. I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
And so I didn't think nothing. I just figured it was neighbors. I had visitors.
Okay.
You know, I didn't think nothing about that.
I would like to hear Jody Sue's side of that, what Candace is talking about there.
I gotta stop. I can't do no more. I gotta have a cigarette.
She said she's got to stop. She's got to have a cigarette. I think, this is Chris is starting to say, they're getting deeper. Let's connect these dots and everything. And she doesn't know what else to say. She knows it sounds, in my opinion, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you would think you would fight like hell for your kids, right? Not with this. Not with this. So can you need to tell us Toucan. I called Dawn Toucan. Toucan and can. Yes, that's exactly right, Miss Kitty. I mean, thank God for Chris for these interviews, because this is valuable information. Yeah, the cigarette part. Yeah, Candace plays checkers. Chris plays chess. All right, guys. Well, that's all for today. I've been on here 2.5 hours. Hey, Lena May, good to see you, dear. They never explain how they know it's a kidnapping. They just say they know. Yes, and they've still. Thank you, Gwen. Love you too, honey. What did that say? I refuse to use Gannon's murders. I know. Oh, God. She's horrible. She's horrible. Love you all, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Truly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for summer as well. We're not going to stop. We are going to find Summer. We're going to constantly put her name out so everyone hears this story. Now, let the police, the TBI, the authorities do what they do best, and that is these cases. But I do believe June 15th, next month, I mean, it's almost a month. It's a little over a month right now that Summer will be missing 2 years. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if there was an arrest before June 15th, on June 15th? What if there was an arrest on June 15th? What if we were there on Summer's Day, June 15th, and they arrested someone pertaining to the case of Summer's abduction, or rather than arresting YouTubers for once? How about they arrest someone that did this this summer rather than arresting YouTubers for once? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Um, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about Summer's Day this year. Um, if anyone has any information about it, please let me know. Can you email it to me? Um, Candace said Summer would go to bed with her and that she loves sleeping next to her. The exact same thing Don says. People are believing her. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody ever fought for Summer ever. Nobody ever fought for her. And I feel like hell if we don't, who will, I mean, I know the authorities will and stuff, but I feel like if she'll she's just another number, unfortunately, as a lot of people are, the kids even, some we never even know they go missing. So just sad. Thank you, Benson. Appreciate you, honey. All right, in my opinion, this isn't gonna be grandeur because lots of time has passed. It will be a slam dunk straight to the cuffs. I hope so. I hope so. And I think, in my opinion, that's why Dawn is going off the rails. It's coming, guys. It's coming. The day, oh my God, the day that there is an arrest for the disappearance of Summer Moon Utah Wells, we are going to have a party. I swear to God, we're going to block off a street and have a street party somewhere. Justice for Summer Moon, right? Okay, guys. We pray so much. So much. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. I'm actually maybe live in a little bit. Is Trevor still in here? Does Trevor going live tonight? If Trevor goes live, he usually goes live at 8 o'clock. So check out Trevor. It's called Trev Time if he goes live tonight. If not, I may go live in a little bit about a new case that someone wanted me to look at, and it's a crazy one. It's a crazy one. Real crazy. I'll talk to you guys later.